Today is February the 17th, and I want to talk briefly about how many records are in the database and how many individual providers. The question might be, well, how many family practitioners are represented in this database? How many orthopedic surgeons? The database has about 9,316,000 individual records. And these records represent services provided by physicians, MD and DO, and other healthcare providers, social workers, RNs, psychologists. And each record will represent one specific individual, a specific CPT code, and a specific location. So by looking at these, we're going to look at how many individual providers. And I did a search to find out how many individual NPI numbers was in the database. And there was 938,147 unique NPI numbers, which suggests 938,147 unique providers. And out of this, physicians and DOs, MDs and DOs, represented about 552,000 of those providers. In allied health and other providers was about 295,000. And there was a group of additional providers that is not included in those two, such as perhaps pharmacies that provide flu shots and services such as that. But the question becomes then, out of these MD-DO providers, what is the breakdown on specialty? And basing the information on the self-identified specialty of each Medicare provider, we find that there are approximately 33,000 anesthesiologists, and I will include this information in a manual for you so you can refer back to it. 22,000 cardiologists, 10,000 dermatologists, 28,000 radiologists, 39,000 emergency medicine, 80,000 MD and DO family practice, 18,000 general surgery, 95,000 internal medicine, and then continuing, looking at some of the larger numbers, 13,000 neurology, and this is interesting here, only 105 neuropsychiatry. It's been my experience that a lot of psychiatrists do not take Medicare. I am looking for numbers now to find out the number of practicing psychiatrists in the United States and to see what percentage this is. In fact, my goal is to determine a reasonable number of specialties in each of these areas and then look at what percentage of them are Medicare eligible. 23,000 in OB/GYN, 20,000 in orthopedic surgery, 11,000 in pathology, 21,000 in psychiatry, and we'll see how that number matches with the total number in the U.S. And then 4,000 physicians in radiation oncology, 4,000 in rheumatology. So this is approximately 552,000 physicians, MD and DO. And then if we look at the allied healthcare area, audiologist, approximately 6,000, chiropractic, 35,000, CRNA, 32,000, licensed clinical social worker, 14, mass immunization roster biller, which I had never heard of, but it's 25,000, 68,000 nurse practitioners, 40,000 physical therapists, and this is approximately 295,000. So you can see that there is a fairly large representation of physicians and allied health in this database. If we go back to the MD section with a total of 533,000 that accept Medicare, and be aware that a physician may accept Medicare but not be in this database because they rendered a very, very small amount of services. At the present time, I'm looking to see what is the approximate number of active licensed physicians in the United States. The numbers I am seeing range anywhere from 850,000 to 950,000. Many of the surveys indicate there's over 1 million physicians in the U.S. However, some of those are retired and others do not actually participate in patient care. They're in research. So at this point, it's looking like it is between certainly 50%, maybe as high as 60% of the physicians accept Medicare. There are some other surveys that indicate this number is higher, and we'll talk about those later. Depending upon how you use the data in this database, you'll need to be conversant to some extent on to what extent this database is representational of physicians throughout the United States. I think the thing that can certainly be said is that there is a significant percentage of physicians and healthcare providers that accept Medicare, and the charges that are in the database are reliable and valid for that set of individuals. We'll talk more about this in some additional detail on another video, but I wanted to give you some sense of the number of records in the database, over 9 million, which is a very significant number, and then approximately 938,000 unique providers, with a little over 500,000 MD, DO providers, and almost 300,000 allied health. Thank you very much. More later.